Before you judge, before you scroll, listen. This isn't a movie. This isn't fiction. It's a real story of a Ukrainian boy whose childhood was stolen by war, and somehow he survived. The war didn't begin with an explosion. It started with silence. A dreadful, deafening silence before our home's doors were blown open. I was 14, and at that moment, my childhood ended. My name is Nazar. I lived in a small village in Kherson region. When the war started, our lives changed dramatically. My father went to the front line, leaving us behind. My mother, my 7-year-old sister Nastia, and I stayed behind under occupation. We learned to live in fear and silence. But we didn't know yet that the worst was still to come. One evening, I heard the roar of engines. Through the window, I saw Russian soldiers. They burst into our home, shouting, overturning furniture, screaming and beating us. Shiakaratis, they accused my mother of collaborating with Ukrainian forces and took her away. When I tried to stop them, I was knocked unconscious. When I woke up, the house was eerily silent and empty. I found Nastia hiding in the wardrobe, shaking from fear. Quietly, we moved to the cellar. We spent the night there, hungry, cold, terrified, listening carefully to every sound. Nastia eventually fell asleep, but I stared into the darkness, uncertain about our next move. The following days were the hardest. At night, I would sneak out looking for food, overhearing terrifying conversations about executions, torture, and kidnappings. One day, I witnessed Russian soldiers take our neighbor outside. He never returned. I watched from hiding, feeling powerless and full of self-hatred. One night, I found an injured dog. He was frightened, but allowed me to approach. I named him Chance. He became my only friend, reminding me that something good still existed in this harsh world. The next night, he disappeared, leaving me alone once again. Before deciding to escape, I entered our neighbor's ruined house. There, I found a letter from a Ukrainian soldier to his family, promising he'd return. These words gave me strength. If he could promise to return, I could promise myself to survive. On the 4th day, holding Nastia's hand, I began our journey. We moved through fields, hiding from every movement. Once, we almost stumbled into an ambush and hid under a bridge, listening to enemy soldiers just meters away. I held Nastia so tightly, afraid even to breathe. By dawn, we saw the Ukrainian flag. Ukrainian soldiers quickly took us to safety. Doctors examined us, gave us food and warm clothes. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of peace. A few days later, our father arrived at the hospital. He had left the front line immediately after hearing we'd been found. He hugged us and said, "I will never leave you again." At that moment, I knew I wasn't alone. Sometimes people ask me how I survived. I always say I had no other choice. This isn't just my story, It's the story of every Ukrainian child who's witnessed war. If you made it to the end, thank you. My name is Nazar, and this was my story. But it's not just mine. It's the story of thousands. Don't look away. Don't forget, because your voice might be the one that saves someone like me.